Hey everybody, how's everyone doing today? Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. Took me it's been a while, a month or so since we've gone live, so just had to oil the systems and make sure everything was getting ready here. Just some confirmation in the chat that we're a-okay. Excellent. Look at that. Dave, how's it going? Thanks for popping on from the UK. Sean, good to see you, bud. Hopefully you're getting, that part of the world all ready for the World Cup in a couple weeks or a few weeks. When's kickoff? I don't remember when the first actual match day is, but yeah, looking forward to that. I've actually worked a little bit last night on this World Cup website that I've been building, if you know about it. But so yeah, cool, excellent. Look, Matt, man, we got all kinds of people on. Chris, Bill, Hans, Rion, thank you for coming on. Okay, so I'm sure most of you know, right? If you're on this live stream, you probably know that Stacks 5 shipped, right? Now, I know a lot of you are, I see from the names that, hey, you attended the conference this past weekend. Thank you very much for attending that ARC Summit this year. This was our 7th year, and yeah, it was amazing. We had a great time, learned a bunch of really cool stuff. Yeah, had a great talk from Isaiah about Stacks 5. I'm going to, leak all of that Stacks 5 goodness to you guys here today about the update from Stacks 5. Obviously, there was some insider stuff that, hey, we got to keep in the summits, right? So you guys will eventually find out. So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about Stacks 5 plugin update that shipped yesterday. Okay, there is an announcement thread on the community, and there's a couple other things that's kind of cool and new. I guess here, let me just share my screen really quick. Hopefully that's everything's all working and everything's good. Let's see. Oh, looks like my audio isn't. Can you guys still hear me when I'm sharing my screen? Okay, cool. For some reason, it looked like the audio wasn't configured when I was sharing my screen. So excellent. Okay, so I wanted to highlight. So there is a new Stacks community. Okay, from Yourhead. So it was an official Yourhead community, and it is on an app called Discord. Now I'm loading. Discord has an app. Okay, and I'm loading it via the application. Okay, so it's kind of like a live chat room, as well as there is a place in here to actually post like more of a traditional forum, right? So you see here's like the every forum post, you can click on it and it'll load the discussion thread for that particular topic. It's a pretty cool interface. It's very interesting. So yeah, there is a post on the community. I posted it this morning with the link on how to join this Stacks Discord. You can join it from the web browser. You don't have to have the app, but the app makes it probably a little bit nicer, I think, to use. So go ahead and join us over there. I'm over there as pretty much all of the other developers as well. So go there and you can chit chat and whatnot. Now, I should say that this has zero effect on Weaver space. Okay, it's just an official RapidWeaver support or RapidWeaver. Man, I gotta get that out of my nomenclature. This is an official Stacks from Yourhead, a new Stacks chat room and support forum. Okay, just for Yourhead Stacks. So it's just another option. I will be here, so if you post there, I'll eventually see it. I tend to prioritize the Weaver space community and everything going on over there. But it's fun to have another option, right? So yeah, and this is an interesting one. I mean, it's kind of self-chat, right? It's kind of more of a chat-based thing. So that's really cool. So check out the Discord. Okay. So we're here to talk about some Stacks 5 goodness. Now, I have to admit, I should have took some notes to make sure I reviewed everything, but I think I got this. Okay. So Stacks 5, I guess we'll talk about pricing first. Okay. Um, so let me go ahead and, I should have unregistered my copy of Stacks so that I can kind of show you guys, yeah, what'll happen, if you do that, right? So, let's go ahead and, it's fine. It's a lot of work, not a lot of gain. So you can download Stacks 5, and you can also download it directly from yourhead.com. Here, I guess we'll start there, right? So if you go to yourhead.com, oops, not YouTube. Yourhead.com. Stacks 5 is smarter. So we go to Stacks. Okay. You can download the Stacks 5 plugin right now. Okay. And then if you already have Stacks 4, it'll have a buy now button up here where you can upgrade. Okay. You can also, this buy now button is for new users. If you are upgrading from Stacks 4, you click on this link right here. Okay. And that will allow you to purchase the upgrade for $29.95. Okay. And what's interesting is what you'll see right here is that when Stacks Pro, as you probably are aware, Stacks Pro is the standalone Stacks app that is currently under development. Okay, it is Stacks Pro. And when Stacks Pro is released, if you purchased Stacks 5 this upgrade, you will get $29.95 off the price of Stacks Pro. Okay, so essentially you're getting the plugin for free eventually, because you're getting a credit for that towards the purchase of Stacks Pro when that is released. I think he is shooting for a beta by the end of this year. But hey, we're a developer and it's the end of the year, holiday season's coming up. I would think early 2023 is probably when we'll see something more likely. But he is shooting for the end of this year. So if he makes it, flipping cool. I'm all aboard that. Okay. I don't even have it on my machine to even try to show you, even tease you with anything. Okay. So anyway, that's how you get the upgrade. Okay. And again, if you download it and install, there could be a little buy now or upgrade now banner that's kind of like, a little blue ribbon up here that you would click, and then it would essentially take you to the same page. Okay. Isaiah has also made, if you go to the Stacks 5 page here, towards the bottom, he's also made a bunch of videos about what's new in Stacks 5. Now you guys are all here, so I'm going to kind of give you a whirlwind tour here. But if you want to watch Isaiah himself give those tutorials, you can watch them here on the Stacks 5 page on yourhead.com. Okay, cool. I just bought Stacks 4 a couple weeks ago. I would email Isaiah and see what he has to say about that. It's not my software, his call. So I'm sure he'll give you a deal or something. He'll fix you up. So Ibrahim, just make sure you email or ping Isaiah, join his Discord, and you can DM him. Okay, and I'm sure he'll work with you on that. Okay, great question. Unfortunately, I can't answer that because it's not my software to answer. So there we go. As I'm going, please go ahead and type in some questions, and we'll go through everything. Okay. So first off, let's go over the awesome new Stacks library. Okay. So over here on the sidebar, you'll probably notice that my library layout is different than what Stacks 4 was. There's a bunch of different options here. Now, if you go to the bottom of the Stacks menu, you can go icon size, and you'll notice that there's a few different options now. There's medium compact, which is what I have here. There's also small compact. I think that's pretty crazy. But hey, if you got like crazy good eyesight, go for it. Maybe I'm just getting old, but like that's really tiny. So, yeah, I kind of like the medium compact. And actually, I'll be honest, it depends on what I'm working on, right? So right now I'm on my dual 27-inch displays. This layout works well for me. But I noticed on my laptop, sometimes I like just going to this view here. So yeah, I kind of go in between these two, the medium and the medium compact. So yeah, play around with that. Let me know, or it'd be interesting to see what people think. I think people have given some feedback. They'd like some other potential options that might come out. For example, just want to let you know, if you go to medium layout, a layout that I used to use all the time. Oh, it looks like he fixed it, actually. Never mind. He fixed it. Score. Win for Isaiah. I didn't check that he fixed that. Before, in prior earlier betas of Stacks 5, you couldn't quite get it down to one column. So maybe it was in the small. Let's see. Was it in small? Get it? Can you get it down to? Maybe it was small. I don't remember now. I think it was in the small layout. Prior on my laptop, I liked the small layout, and then had the. You can't actually get it to one column. It'll collapse before it does that. So, anyway, I kind of like the medium layouts, like I said earlier. I think those are decent. But the small is okay. I'm gonna go back to this layout here. I like this one. Oh, and also, I forget if it was before, but the library is sort of responsive now, right? So before it was kind of a fixed thing. You can make the library bigger, but now like the grid of things kind of grows with it. So that's kind of interesting. Okay. So I kind of like this where it's like 5 across. It's kind of my go-to right now. Okay. Another thing you'll probably notice is that the order of your groups over here on the left can now be changed. And I've actually changed it from the default. Let me change it back to what it was. Here, let me go ahead and do that. Let's see. See if this was there. Let me go ahead and, as you see, you could just drag and drop these suckers around. Super cool. And I think this is like the default. You have your default Stacks library that has everything. Then you have your favorites. Then you have partials, templates, externals, and images. Okay. I found that, obviously I use Foundation 6 a lot, and I found that like the top group, I don't know, it just made better sense for me to just have my Foundation stacks up top, because chances are that was where I was going to go. That was like my go-to group for finding a stack. Like that was my default place, right? So this is a group that has all the Foundation stacks. Super useful. Okay. And then below that, I had my favorites, which is, non-Foundation stacks that I like, either Pen or Drift and some, offsite SEO helper. So these are stacks that I tend to use often, that I just want quick access to. Okay. And if you didn't know how to add something to your favorites, you just right click and say favorite. Okay. And it adds it to the favorites group. Then after that, I have this little group that has stacks that are under development. It's kind of a manual group for me. I'm not going to review it today, but I am going to have a new stack set coming out for Stacks 5, which will be fun and interesting. So in the coming weeks, you might hear more about that. Okay. Or if you're a part of the summit, you can watch my talk and I kind of show some of the information. Then let's see, I have email stacks and then total CMS. Total CMS was actually second, I believe. So here we have Foundation, total CMS stuff, favorites, email, under development, and then everything else. Okay. Now, that's cool. I've been wanting to reorder my stacks groups for a very long time. But there's something else cool. So I'm sure you've known, like, let's say if you're a Foundation user, this happens all the time with Foundation and Total CMS, actually. Okay. I release a new stack as a part of an update to Foundation. And prior, you probably created a Foundation group and then you manually added all the stacks to it. But when I released an update, you had absolutely no clue. You had no clue that I released a new stack because it wasn't in your Foundation group. So now we have a fix for this. And that is, if you right click on these groups, you have the ability to do smart groups, which is super cool. So by default, actually, let's go to the simple view. You can go ahead and give it a title. You can give it an icon. You can customize the colors of the icons now with these new colors, which is nice. And then what you can do is you can turn on this smart search switch. Okay. And I'm searching for Foundation 6, which is pretty cool. Then down here below, you can then limit where this search is coming from. So I searched it. If you might want to replicate this if you're using Foundation 6. I'm only including stacks. Now, for example, if I were to include templates, okay, what we'll see is some Foundation 6 templates now are in this group that are tagged with Foundation 6. Okay. If we did all of those, I think more would even show up. A couple more show up, right? But so if you are using Foundation 6 and you wanted a smart group that had all the Foundation 6 stacks, this is what I would do. This is what I have currently done, right? You search for Foundation 6, tags, stacks. Boom, done. Okay? And that will give you all stacks that are tagged with Foundation 6. Okay? Similarly with Total CMS, this is a smart group as well. I'm just searching for Total CMS. I only want to show stacks. I don't want to show partials or images or built-in stacks and all that stuff. So there's a smart search there. Okay. Same thing with email. I just have a smart search. With email, it's a little interesting because maybe some other stacks were tagged with email. But if you want all the email stacks, if you do email space dash, okay. Funny enough, because what it's doing is it's searching the groups that I have here. So in all the email stacks, they're grouped as email dash something. And these groups are stored as tags inside stacks. So there we go. So email dash, that will give you all of the email stacks. So pretty cool there. Okay, so next up, so we talked about stacks reordering. I've had my Foundation stack group. I saw someone post on the forum that was like, hey, can I replace the default stacks group? And I was like, yeah, just drag one up. And I was like, wow, that seems so logical. Why didn't I think about that? And I really like having the Foundation stacks as the top group here. And because I found I only went to the stacks group when I wanted to find a stack and I wanted to search. Okay. Which brings me to my next feature, which Isaiah lovingly in the summit called this Joe mode, because I was a adamant proponent for this. And it was interesting to see people's feedback during the summit of some people love this, some people hate it. The weird people like Chris Powers hate it. Super weird. He likes orange. So anyway, searching in stacks always drove me bonkers because let's say I'm in this Foundation group and I wanted to quickly bring in my Magnifico stack, right? So prior, I would go here and I would search Magnifico, but since now it works because search now can search all stacks every time you search, which is super, super useful. So now if you want to go back to that old behavior, you can. Okay, if you want to be a heathen, okay, like Chris, and apparently Mr. Cole here in the chat. I don't understand those people, okay? If you go to the stacks preferences, you can do, where is it? Library. And then here, library search. Always search all stacks. We'll go over some other new stacks preferences soon, but right now you can say always search all stacks. If you uncheck that, okay, now if I'm in my Foundation group and I go I know Magnifico is a stack in my thing, but because it doesn't exist, I have to then go into the all stacks group and then do my search. Man, so inefficient. I don't know. I'm gonna rag you for it, but hey, to each its own, right? So if that sort of thing makes you happy, cool. Isaiah added a preference for it, but I love how search will always search the entire library. I think it's awesome. Okay. So that was feature, I don't know, number 4. Okay. And again, that behavior is configurable. But yes, as long as I'm happy, hey, yeah, we can call it Joe mode, whatever we want. Okay. Next features. So a lot of awesome stuff here in the library. The next awesomeness is going to be, you probably notice up here at the very top of the Rapweavers app in the menu bar, there is now a Stacks menu. Whoops, what happened here? Something tried to take over my, there we go. Stacks menu. Okay, so inside the Stacks menu, there is a bunch of new options. Okay. And the first option, I'm going to go over page stacks, and maybe we'll do that next. Okay. There's a bunch of options here. Now, depending if I don't have any stacks selected, let's go ahead and select a stack. Okay. Now I can go to stacks. You'll see that there's a bunch of new stuff we can do. And some of this is pretty interesting. So you'll notice that there's hide stack. Okay. Which if before we had to click this toolbar icon, but now we'll also notice not only can I hide it from the menu, but there's a keyboard shortcut. Now, if you didn't know, inside macOS, if there is an option in the menu and you see these little these keys in gray next to the menu item, I mean, that's the keyboard shortcut. So now to hide a stack, you can do Option H, okay, or Alt for those old school Windows users, okay. But so if I go over here, I could just do Option H, and we can toggle and show and hide this stack. That's cool. So now Stacks gives us a lot more awesome keyboard shortcuts. Okay, pretty cool. We can also lock a stack, okay, which is Option K. Why isn't it Option L? I don't know. Isaiah, why isn't it Option L? I don't know. Seems kind of odd. I almost never lock a stack myself, so I'm okay. I don't know. I don't think I've ever really locked a stack. Locking a stack essentially means if you lock a stack, which is the same thing as this little toolbar icon here, okay, you can't change the settings on it. I guess it's cool if you're like, do not change this, you know? Yeah, you can lock it. Other ones that I like, I'm going to skip over some of these. You can now create a partial, create an external, and one of my favorites is unpacking from a keyboard shortcut, which is pretty slick. Okay. You can also show and hide. Oh, that is why Option L is library. That makes sense. He had to come up with something else. So I think, yeah, we want Option L for showing and hiding the library. Super useful. Okay. You can also do Option F, okay, which will take you to the search. Okay. I'm curious, if I close my library, if I close the library and I do Option F, that opens it and searches. Score. I like it. Okay. So Option F is find. Oh, interesting. If you do Option F in the text area, it gives you the things. Okay. So that was find a stack. You can also do Option U for checking for updates, right? So no matter where you are in stacks, you do Option U and voila, we get the check for updates button. Or window, sorry, not a button. Okay, oh look, Tab has some updates. Interesting, these look like old updates. Why don't I have those? Whatever. Okay. Okay, now I want to review some interesting ones. While these are menus, I think people are most likely going to memorize these keyboard shortcuts to make our lives easier. Okay, there's two kind of sets of things where I'm going to talk about. These options here are for selecting stacks, and then these options here are for moving stacks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let's add a picture stack to this page just so we can have a picture. Okay, and let's oh no, we got to go for this one, which I think our buddy Erwin made for me. Okay, so I want to move this picture around the page a little bit. Okay, so if I have this selected, we can go stacks. I can say move stack up. There it did. It moved it up. And then I could do stacks, move stacks down. And guess what? You see it basically moves it below or above this text stack. Okay. There's also move to the top and move all the way to the bottom. I'm not sure how useful those are. Maybe if you just want to get something out of the way. But yeah, basically if you do stack move to top, it'll move it all the way to the top of the page. And if we do stacks move to bottom, it'll move that stack all the way to the bottom of the page. Now, if you notice, there's keyboard shortcuts for those too, right? So here we have option, arrow up or arrow down. That will move the stack up or down. So if I do option, arrow up, it moves it up. Arrow down, moves it down. If I hold down, I think it's the shift key, right? Yeah. So if I hold down the shift key, so if I shift option, arrow up, it goes all the way to the top. Shift option, arrow down, it goes all the way to the bottom. Cool. Now, this also applies to multi-select. So I can select multiple stacks and I can do option command up. And guess what? It moves all of those stacks up or all of them down. Cool beans, right? Man, that image is big. Here, let's go ahead and I'm just gonna, let's chuck some of these in a container so it constrains the width a little bit here. Here, let's do, I'm gonna define sizing. No, we're gonna scale image. There, max 512 here, 256, just so it's smaller. Okay. Zombie Joe is smaller now, center image. Okay. Now we can see more inside the area so we don't have this huge image flowing up and down. All right, so I have this text. I'm going to add that in there as well. All right, so now I have a container, okay? And again, if I select multi-select, let's do that again. I can option down, and that moves them down. I can option up, that moves them up. Okay. So now let's talk about selecting stacks. Now, if you didn't know, you can if you hold down the command key, okay, and you can select multiple stacks. Okay, that's interesting. Cool. That's been a feature since Stacks 4. Okay, but I know some people aren't aware of that. Okay, but what are the new keyboard shortcuts? So let's look at that. So select all stacks. Now this might not do what you think. Okay, if you do select all stacks, you might think and that was option shift A. Okay. Now you might also be wondering, why are all these using the option key instead of the command key? Well, Stacks doesn't want to trample on rapid reverse toes, and the command key tends to be the way of launching actions at the application level. So essentially, Stacks is using option instead. When Stacks Pro ships, all of these keyboard shortcuts are going to use the command key instead of the option key. Okay, it'll be the same shortcut. It'll just move from option to command. I agree with that. Okay. Now, when we select all stacks, you might think that what it should do is select everything. But if you notice, when I did select all stacks, it only selected the top layer. And that's essentially because if I select let's say this container, okay, it's going to move all the junk inside of it anyway. So it's just a performance thing. So it's only dragging and dropping what it needs to rather than everything on the page, okay, to provide less confusion. Then let's go select all within a stack. Now this is really cool. Let's say I'm in this container. I have this container selected. I want to select all the stacks within this container. If I just do option A, you have to select, you have to select the text. I want to basically select everything that's within this parent. Okay, so I do option A. That will select everything that's inside of this container. If you notice this container is, actually, you know what I should do? I'm going to turn off Streamline Edit mode so maybe it can help you guys out a little bit. So here inside this container, I have text, picture, and text. Okay, and no matter if I have picture selected, I can do option A. That will select everything inside of it, which is kind of cool. Now, let's do this other scenario here. Let's say I have a 2-column and I'm going to move that into there, and I'm going to move that into, move this one and copy it over there. All right. So now I click on this, I do Option A, I command click on this and do Option A. If you see, now I have all the stacks. Oops, I didn't want that. Okay, so I click onto this text stack, I do Option A, I command click over here and then do Option A. If you notice what it does, boom, it's selected everything within these two containers. That's pretty slick, right? There's going to be a lot of times where you're going to want to maybe do something to all of those. Okay, whether hide all of them, you want to lock them if locking's your thing. Okay, now actually I'm curious if I do this plus this, then do Option A. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so here again, let me just show you. I did this. I command clicked this one so that I have this and this selected. Then I do Option A, and it selects all of their sibling stacks. Very cool. Okay. What are some of the other ones here? Select all within, select stack above. So that's just if I have this text stack selected and if I do arrow down, it's just going to move down. Now, another thing you might have noticed is I did this text. I'm going to add some more stuff here. I'm just going to copy paste this down. Okay. So I'm going to go and arrow down, arrow down. Now, if you notice, the stack's edit mode automatically scrolled this stack into view. If I arrow down again and again, oh, interesting. Okay. Looks like there's some potential weirdness here. That one didn't work. Interesting. I'll have to file a bug with Isaiah on that. All right. But if you did notice, this text stack wasn't fully in view and it's kind of scrolled it up. Okay. So that's interesting. Okay. You can also select a parent. So if I go here and if I do command arrow up, that will then go up to the parent. Okay. But for me, the major in selection is this, if you command select and then do Option A, I love that. That's really slick. That's going to be super, super useful. Okay. All right, I think that goes over. Oh, I wanted to go over creating a partial really quick. So we can just go over here and I can do Command P, or I'm sorry, Option P, right? And that will create a partial for me. Okay. Now, if I have a partial, if I do Option Enter, it will immediately unpack that partial. And the same is true. It'll unpack a template and an external as well. Okay. So if I go to my templates, and let's say I have a lot of templates on this page. Let's just go ahead and drag this to the page. And I just want to extract it. I can just do Option Enter. Boom. Super useful, very powerful stuff there. Okay. All right. So the last one option that I kind of skipped earlier is this page stats. Okay. And you can also access it with Option, I think it's single quote. Yes, Option single quote. Okay. And this is a floating panel. Okay. And what this does is it shows you all of the stacks statistics. My goodness, talk about a tongue twister. Stack statistics. Whew. Page stats. All the stacks that are on your page, it'll show you. So it'll see that here I have 6 text stacks. I have 3 containers. I have 3 picture stacks. I have 1 site styles, and I have 1 2 column. And what's kind of cool is what you'll notice is that it actually highlights the stacks. So if I click this text, if you notice what it does is it actually highlights all of those text stacks for us. Pretty cool, right? So it highlights all, and maybe I want to modify all the text stacks on my page to do something. Maybe I want to do remove margin top, right? Or I want to do, center that text. So now I can change the options for all of those at one time. Pretty slick. Okay. Um, and this you can leave this window open. Do I have multiple pages in this project? Yeah. So if you just switch to a different page, you'll notice that you can just leave it open, and it actually shows you all of the stacks on the new page that you're on. Pretty cool, right? I like it. It tells you, kind of gives you an overall stat here. And then you can see the full list of ones that are there. Like if I click on this bad boy, it'll show me there's that stack. If I click on that, it actually takes me to that stack on the page, right? Pretty cool. Go to pen, go to swatches, right? This could be a really great way of showing and hiding swatches. Like, where's my menu styles? Oh, look, there's menu styles. Oh, where's my menu stack? Oh, there's my menu stack, right? So this is going to be a great way. I know a lot of us wanted a search feature, and I believe that will eventually come into Stacks Pro. But this is definitely a really great thing to allow us to, locate and maybe, select a stack on the page. It's really cool. Okay, last up, I think we are going to go into the Stacks preferences. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at Stacks preferences. And again, this is if you click on this little preferences button in the toolbar, it will open up your Stacks preferences. Let's look at all the stuff we have available here. I'll review some of the stuff that was even came in Stacks 4 because I know some new users are on here, and I wanted to show you this. By default, against my recommendation, this is the default view of Stacks inside dark mode. If your Mac is in dark mode, the edit area is also dark. Actually, it says follow system appearance. I think it is, right? I think the edit area should always be light. That's just my preference. I think it should always be light mode. Okay. I think it will make your life a lot easier. You can say the Stacks library for all of these. For the Stacks library, the edit mode and the info sidebar. So basically 1, 2, 3. Okay, you can change things. So I like this particular setup. Follow system appearance for library and sidebar, and then my edit area is always light mode. That I find is the best for me. Okay, but you do you. If you don't like Joe mode, you can use Chris mode. Okay. So edit mode interface. These are all new options inside Stacks 5. First is there was an interesting debate about this during the summit, actually, and it was interesting to see why users liked things certain ways. Okay, and this is how a stack is selected. So on selection, scroll selected stack into view. Only when the selection is smaller than the view, or only when a single stack is selected. Okay, so you can check on these on or off or whatever, right? So if we turn those on, I can go ahead and if I click on this text stack, you'll notice it scrolls it into view. Okay, if I turn that off, okay, and then I select this stack, we'll see that it doesn't scroll it into view. Okay, so I think the default behavior is good. I think that's okay with me for right now. Next is double click the label. All right. I kind of forget. I think the default preferences for this in Stacks 5 is both of these are unchecked. Okay. There was a very famous advanced hack that you could do with Stacks where if you open up terminal and you ran this crazy command, you could unlock a feature that double click to hide. So that is an official feature now. And if you want that, double click label, say hides all selected stacks. Right. So if you double click on a label, it will hide it. Now, what's interesting is if you go ahead and have multiple stacks selected, let's say I have this one, and this one selected, and then I double click, it will hide all of them. Right. So that's interesting. It's interesting, right? So if you have multiple selected, you can actually double click to hide. Okay. So there we go. I love this double click to unhide. And if you're a pen user, you probably are aware that pen, if you double click to hide, it actually kind of goes into note mode, right? So it only hides the content. I kind of hijack some things. So there we go. Pens. And if you don't like the new pen update, check it out. It's pretty awesome. Latest, I think it was last week I shipped it right before the summit. Okay. Next is, this isn't really a preference, but it's a link. Okay. So Stacks, there's currently some issues where, or there were issues, okay, that seem to have been resolved, but depending on various situations and various edge cases and whatnot, an image that you add to a project. Now, I'll have to say that for some reason, I haven't seen this happen to a Foundation user yet. Tends to happen to users of other themes. I'm not sure what I do in Foundation differently, but there are some other themes out there that users tend to have this issue frequently, where they open up a project under certain edge case scenarios, and the image is gone. Okay. So to help debug that, Stacks is actually like backing up a ton of images, okay, from your projects. And you can quickly access them if this particular thing happens to you. It seems to have been resolved in the latest builds. But anyway, it's there just for those oddball situations. Again, this is a very edge case scenario, but even though it's edge case, Isaiah wanted to make sure that no one ever loses their data ever. So there we go. This little arrow button just opens up basically the image backup folder for you. Okay. Okay. Next, options. Let's go into library. This allows you to customize the library. Okay. And you can show whether or not you want all stacks, do you want to show or hide the partials group, so on and so forth. All of these. Okay. In the stacks all group, do you want to include these particular things? Library. I think the only thing that changed in this update in Stacks 5 was the library search feature, which I kind of showed earlier. So always search all stacks, aka Joe mode. Yeah, I love it. Good stuff. HTML5. I do not believe anything changed here. But if you're curious what these preferences are, we'll talk about them. Include stacks meta tags. I strongly urge you have this checked on, especially if you want help from me. Okay. This helps me a lot. Okay. It just adds a couple meta tags on your page so that I can have a little bit more information about your site and what you're doing. It gives zero extra information to users. It's just kind of some extra metadata that's added to the page. Okay. I recommend leaving this on, especially if you want help. Okay. Comments in HTML, I would turn that off because you don't necessarily need the comments in the HTML. Stacks will strip those. That's a good thing. Remove extra white space. I think that's always a good thing. Remove any empty white space on the HTML. I think that's always a good thing. CDNs, I'd recommend just turning all of those off. So I would just turn all of those off because you want to host all of these things from your own web server, not from a CDN. Especially if you're curious and you're worried about GDPR and all that stuff, or DSVGO in Germany and things of that nature, right? So I would definitely turn off all of these. Okay, developer, I'm not going to go through. Nothing's new here. Okay, I would leave everything in here as default. If you turn on some of these settings, it will actually affect performance. And yeah, so yeah, I would leave everything on here off, unless you're a developer and a Stacks developer, and you know what you're doing. It will affect performance inside edit mode. Okay, I think everyone. Let's see. Were there any questions? Let's go ahead and have a look at the questions here. Yep, I incorporated Halloween. Joe mode rules. Yes. Okay, I'm in light mode in the middle guy. Yep. Okay, Chris says he's a light mode in the middle guy. So Chris has a little bit of Joe in him. I like it. Pen for the win. Page stats does not seem to include stacks counts within a partial. Does the count numbers? Okay. So yes, Matt. So in the page stats, it does not count the number of. If a stack is inside of a partial, it doesn't show in the stacks count. It shows as a partial. That is correct. And that is as designed. It's designed to be like that. Is this working for RW Classic? Yes, Stacks 5 works inside RapidWeaver Classic. Are there improvements in Stacks 5 for Stacks developers? At this time, no. At this time, the Stacks API, it's important to go, when you're going from Stacks between major versions, aka 4 to 5, you want to keep everything as smooth as possible. You want the transition to go extremely smooth. So therefore, one way to do that, to make sure that all you're updating in the stacks, is to ensure the API remains consistent. And that Isaiah can now ensure that all the stacks that you have now will remain unchanged because the API itself has remained unchanged. So, during this transition, it's really important that everything is locked down, and the only thing that changed is actually the stacks functionality. Whereas in future updates, maybe 5.1 and future, that's when, he'll start releasing more stacks APIs. Isaiah has done this ever since stacks 1, same exact thing. So whenever we went from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, there's been 0 API changes in between those. Okay. So there we go. Cool. I think I answered all the questions. If you want to type them in really quick, I'm happy to go ahead and answer. Does Stacks 5 work in RapidWeaver Classic? Yes, it does. Yes, Stacks 5 will work in RapidWeaver Classic. Sweet. So the Stacks 4 to 5 transition is pretty simple. Extremely simple. There's nothing for you to do. You only get new features in Stacks. It is 0 headache. You do not have to, existing projects, you don't have to republish anything. Again, all this functionality is just new. You don't have to worry about anything breaking. Stacks 5 will only improve your workflow. It also fixed some other backend stuff, like that if you undid too many times, you might have gotten some crashes. Well, that happens a lot less now. I'm not saying it never happens, but yeah, a lot of those have been fixed and resolved as well. So yeah, you shouldn't be scared to undo a little bit more often now with Stacks 5 and RapidWeaver. Okay, bugs were fixed on both sides, so that that functionality works a lot better now. Okay. Sweet. Any other questions? Nope. Sweet. Okay, everybody. I think we're going to call it a day. I hope you enjoy Stacks 5. Go and buy it now. The link is either go to your head, download. There's links on the community and the announcements thread. Also check out the Stacks Discord because it's pretty awesome. So hope you enjoy Stacks 5. It's awesome. It's kind of the beginning of a new era, and a lot of new exciting stuff's going to come here. And 2023 is going to be hot stuff. So cool. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you see you on Friday at the Hangout.